right, man, Torture Talk, 6 o'clock show. 6 o'clock show, everybody. How y'all doing, man? Hope everybody's good, man. Oh, man, I'm feeling exhilarated. I'm feeling good. Hope everybody's good. How y'all doing out there? 6 o'clock show. Look, man, so is it official? Is Drake's career over? Is he going into streaming? Is he really out of here? Did Kendrick really get him out of here? We're going to talk about it. Before I get into that, I got to get my spill. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing if you're new here. Let me work on your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know where to find the ones that just don't harass them. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, link is in the description. Cash App, no more PayPal. They call me the Hidden Gem. 1,300 subscribers to over 14,000. Let's go. 14,000 subscribers. And yes, I am the king of the north. Let me know what kingdom you from also too. After hours show, Torture Talk After Hours. I'm starting to get some traction over there. Almost got 100 subscribers. Thank you very much. Keep it going, everybody. The link is right at the top. As soon as you click the description, just subscribe. Thank y'all. I really appreciate it. So look, we're going to get right into this, man. No more talking. You know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of people ask me, well, what is the After Hours show about? After Hours show is actually, it's a little more long form videos, a little more in depth, and I'm going to be cursing over there. So, and it's going to be at night. So most of the episodes going to drop at night after 10, sometimes 12, around that time. They ain't going to drop during the day time. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's called After Hours. So look, man, let's get to it. Let's go.
Now, when it comes to Drake in this moment, well, there has been so much conversation about where his crash out and what his downfall is meaning at this point, as we are about to enter a new year and Drake is leaning further into things that are just anti-hip-hop in every way possible. Even with all of this said, and Drake being way more interested in hanging out with streamers than he is with rappers, he is still pretending to care about his music career because over everything else, Drake still has a confirmed album with his fellow OVO member Party Next Door releasing. But now, with this said,
now I will say this: the thing is about Drake. This is what I'm getting from this whole thing with him. I think that he has, since Kendrick has defeated him, I think he has a real disdain for rap right now. And I'm predicting that Party Next Door album is going to be mostly 90% is going to be singing. He probably have one rap on there, 2 raps on there, but that's about it. But for the most part, it's going to be probably a better version of what he's been doing. That's it. I'm thinking that he is really going through some things right now because he's doing a lot of streaming with a lot of different streamers, but he ain't doing no music with and we don't know if No Face was actually old. We don't know if No Face was actually new. We don't know when those songs was recorded. Those songs could have been recorded. He's just releasing them now. No Face definitely sounds like something that he did maybe last year or something like that. But Drake probably has a whole lot of music that he didn't release yet. But it just goes to show you that he's in such a bad place right now where he just really don't know which way to go. And that's why he run into these streams. But all of these streams are awkward. If you watch him, you can tell that Drake is very socially awkward. He might have some people that's friends with him, but for the most part, I just don't think he would. This don't sound crazy. I don't think Drake would be actually a good streamer. I don't think he would be.
Drake's Drizmas event, between all the other humiliating moments that showed us that he is not over the Kendrick Lamar beef one bit, Drake also said that his collab album with P&D was ready to release on December 6th, but for some reason did not. And while when Drake was talking about this, he made it act like the main motive in doing this was to perfect the project and to overall have it have a greater release. With the recent work ethic Drake has been showing he has, I think we all know that that's a clear and bold-faced lie. And even further than that, when we look at why Drake would move his release date when it comes to putting this out into the world, we can also figure out that because of none other than Kendrick Lamar and his album GNX. With all the success that record's been having, it made Drake more scared to step into music's biggest arena than he ever has been. And now beyond.
That's exactly why. I'm telling y'all now. That's exactly why he didn't release that album. Because even though GNX dropped last month in November, I think that this here is something that I believe Drake is kind of like, he's afraid of, because Kendrick definitely got another album coming. He got a deluxe album coming, or another album coming. Might be GNX 2.0 or something. Drake is definitely scared to drop. I'm telling y'all now, he's scared to drop. He's scared to drop because he knows that if Kendrick drops, it's going to step on him. And I think that Meet the Grams really hurt Drake. And people was upset about Kendrick dropping that song and stepping on Family Matters like that. And I think that that's what people would think if Drake drops something and Kendrick drops something, he gonna step on his rollout. And people don't. They're gonna hate Kendrick for that. I'm telling y'all now. I'm with all the smoke though.
Kendrick Lamar putting an album out right before Drake was going to, even beyond its initial release and first few weeks. The impact this album is having on the entire industry is putting Drake in a position where releasing his new album is bound to destroy whatever is left of his legacy. And now, before we get any further into why this is, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And so now with Drake, despite him trying to deceive all of us by saying that this record he is coming out next is one of the projects he is the most proud of in his entire career and that he can't wait to put it out, I mean, we all know this is not the truth, because aside from Drake just putting off actually dropping and doing anything to build hype for the album properly beyond saying a few words and comments here and there, if Drake really believed this record was going to do anything to save his career, and knowing the way he has made moves in the past, he would have dropped it against any artist on the schedule, even including Kendrick Lamar and GNX, if he actually believed that when going album against album, his songs could outchart and outperform everything that was on Kendrick's project. But now with Drake backing down from even wanting to mess with Kendrick during what would have been going into GNX's third week of tracking, which now, considering that GNX had the most successful album release this year when it comes to records that were just released on streaming and did not have singles or physical albums put out in stores and ready to ship, and just capturing how successful that was.
Yeah, GNX just broke another record, and I believe that it's the fastest streaming album. I believe it reached a billion streams within a month, less than a month. Because it came out, I believe, November 20 something, November 22nd, or something like that. It came out and it's still streaming, and it's almost a billion views in less than a month. And somebody said Certified Lover Boy just surpassed a billion views. Certified Lover Boy been out how long? How long Certified Lover Boy came out? I think it came out in 2022. Now, again, I'm not saying Drake can't pass a billion views, because we all know he has done that already. But it just goes to show you how fast Kendrick Lamar can get stuff done. This is crazy.
With the record having all of its songs charting in the third week, which is the first album of all time to ever do that. Overall, Drake being scared seems like it was the right choice for him, because he knew that if he put out a record during any time while Kendrick was still dominating the charts in a way where he was literally setting records, it would have been seen as a desperate move, and something that was only solidifying the type of win Kendrick has had over him in not just their back and forth, but in hip-hop and the music industry as a whole. And with Drake making this album a collab with Party Next Door, and with its purpose of not just being a comeback album from everything Drake has been through, but also for him to lean into his city's roots more than he ever has on one project, Drake now running and trying to lean into what his city stands for musically after Kendrick won the beef, with one of the main points being that he runs everywhere but where he's from, overall would have just been a terrible look. But now, what's so genius about this situation?
Here's the thing, another thing too that I think a lot of people are not paying attention to. Like, this battle between Kendrick and Drake is they're so polar opposite from each other on every level. That's the crazy part. One's light skin, one's dark skin. They're so different from each other that you got these guys, from the way they do stylistically, anything you want to think of, stylistically, down to just their demeanor, how they carry themselves. They're so different from each other. This is why this battle is, to me, it's the best battle of all time in hip hop. And it's so fascinating to watch because these dudes are so different. Drake is popular. Kendrick is also popular, but Kendrick is popular for a different reason than Drake is popular. You know what I'm saying? People love Drake. People love Kendrick. But the way people love Drake is not the same as the way that people love Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? I think that people I think that Kendrick can infect Drake's fans and make them come to him. But I don't think Drake fans can do that to Kendrick fans. I don't think Drake can do that to Kendrick fans. I think once you a Kendrick fan, you might like Drake, but you already know it where who supersedes. If you are a Drake fan, I know a lot of Drake fans who will literally clearly say that Kendrick is a better artist than Drake. They would say that. And I got a video coming up where some dude, the company man and all of them, they had a panel, and one of the dudes said that he said that Drake is a better songwriter than Kendrick, and I have to do something to that. So let's keep it going.
Situation, whether it was intended on Kendrick's end by putting it out in this time or not, is that with Kendrick dropping GNX right in the end of November and having its success dominate the rest of the music world for the entirety of 2024 and seemingly for the beginning of next year, he hasn't just taken control of the charts with an entire collection of songs that has made Drake push back an entire record, but now with Drake not dropping because of Kendrick and all of this, because of the current state of his career and where the music industry is going as well. Now for Drake to be able to release this album that he is hoping will be able to give him more time until his ultimate downfall, and that will be able to give his image just a little bit of positivity in this time where he can't seem to catch any sort of wins. Kendrick has now made Drake's comeback effort harder to happen than ever, and really what the lesson Drake is going to end up learning from this ultimately is that he should have actually just put work into his music career and tried to release something genuinely great as soon as Kendrick Lamar started to ruin his image like we have never seen at this point. Because where we are at now, things are getting too late. Because with this version of Drake currently, where his songs are hardly charting, his reputation has never been in a worse place, and the hype for his new music is at an all-time low. Even after GNX is finally entering weeks where it is not selling over 100,000 copies, which has taken over a month to happen, which is still historic for hip-hop. Drake couldn't drop this project at the end of the year because he would have had to go against one of the other biggest musical stars on the planet right now, and who is not just a part of Kendrick Lamar's Top Dog Entertainment label, but who's also the person who is about to go on an entire stadium tour with him in none other than SZA.
Now, here's the thing I want y'all to understand. I see Drake's play. I'm going to tell y'all what his play is. Drake play, and I'm going to dig a little bit deeper. I'm just going to say it right now, then I'm going to dig deeper at the end. Drake's play is he want to be the comeback kid, and I'll explain that. Let's keep it going.
Hype around SZA's new deluxe version of her SOS album, Lana, there being a Kendrick Lamar feature on that project, which gave him another record that has been nearing the top of the charts, and with this record just putting up massive numbers all across the board. Really, with how bad everything has been at for Drake, he didn't even want to try and compete with SZA at this point. And now entering the new year, things are only going to get even harder for Drake, because on January 3rd, we are already getting a massive release in the rap world with Lil Baby's upcoming record, which while I don't think Drake is worried about not being able to outperform Lil Baby at this point, because he is another artist who has just lost so much hype, despite Drake being bigger than Lil Baby comfortably. Him stepping on the release of a rapper from Atlanta would not be a good look for him, as he would be seemingly ruining a moment and an album that is from a rapper and a community of other featured guests who he wants to be friends with and who he is going to need to try and get features from in the future to keep some sort of respect in hip-hop culture. But now beyond trying to keep any of his remaining friendships in rap intact, after this, if Drake wants to drop this album in the rest of January, he will have to go against Bad Bunny, who is releasing a record on January 5th. And while Bad Bunny and Drake do have different audiences for the most part, Bad Bunny is another artist that, with how massive of a superstar he is, their albums will compete on the charts for that top spot, and with Bad Bunny's level of stardom only staying the same, and while Drake's has been going way down. This is going to be another week that, just like with Kendrick and with SZA, Drake is just straight up scared from entirely, and then after all of the hype from this project, towards the end of the month, Drake is going to have to compete with one of the only artists on the planet who can do entire stadium tours anywhere in the world, and who is about to release what is set up to be their final album in none other than The Weeknd. And now with him, beyond being a musical superstar who is going to be rolling out this album with massive marketing events like having an entire film dedicated to it, The Weeknd also has beef with.
Yeah, that's definitely an artist that he can't touch. Like, The Weeknd is maybe the only artist, him and Taylor Swift, outside of some other acts, but those are the only two artists that can really do a stadium by themselves. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize how big The Weeknd is. I think a lot of people just think he's pretty big because he does stuff with rappers or whatever, but a lot of people don't realize that he is a big deal, a really big, much bigger than Drake, actually. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see how many platinum streaming plaques he has, it's unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it going.
Drake and was involved in everything that went down this year already. And so because of this, the stakes will never be higher than in this moment for Drake, and since they are both from the same place as well, this head-to-head would be even more personal and intense, and if Drake were to lose at this point where he has already never been in a worse place entirely, taking it out of the weekend would just be the end of his career in so many ways, because beyond losing his credibility as a rapper and an MC, he will definitively no longer be seen as the king of the place he is from, and as after this, then the Grammys are coming up and Kendrick may end up sweeping the awards, which will be another major moment, and then of course the Super Bowl will be happening, and we still don't know what else Kendrick Lamar may do from here. And really, with the way things are going, if he is going to be dropping another project around this time as a whole, knowing all of this and then knowing once Kendrick Lamar performs Not Like Us at the Super Bowl, it will solidify this downfall for Drake like we have never seen it. Altogether, Drake's own fear of Kendrick and inability to garner any sort of hype or just put work into making an actual project of significance has now put his career where it's facing a point where unless he can create a massive moment in this time where the industry has never been more competitive in terms of the totality of stars releasing music, he is going to be unable to ever win back any sort of respect and come back from the Kendrick beef for good. And so as we enter this year and see how these next few months are going to go, which are seriously going to have some of the most pivotal effects for the next decade on not just hip-hop but all of music, it's going to be so pivotal to see how every single one of these album releases ends up making an impact on the music world, how Kendrick and SZA's momentum continues to control both hip-hop and R&B, and between all of this noise, see if Drake can do anything to even make people care about him.
And I have to agree. All of these moments coming up, and that's outside of Kendrick, it's very difficult for Drake to maneuver. It's going to be very difficult for him to maneuver, and the reason why is because he took himself out of the fight. He should have kept going. He should have kept making music, but he took himself out of the fight. But I'm gonna tell y'all what he gonna do and how I believe he gonna try to come back.
And what he has to offer in the slightest. But now with the way everything has already been going for Drake, him being able to stand within this league and do anything right just seems impossible because he has given us no reason whatsoever to believe in his abilities. And even while Drake's back is against the wall and it has never been more important for him to release something that is genuinely of quality, despite the urgency and despite the clock ticking, he really doesn't seem to care, as right within this time as the biggest stars are coming out and Drake is only getting more scared of the competition in the industry, and of course Kendrick Lamar and everything he has going on from GNX all the way to the Super Bowl, and really all the way to the unknown at this point. Now Drake just seems to be more focused on doing things like not just trying to go after a record and Not Like Us for all the success it has had, but now also beyond just actually getting in the booth and making decent music. He is now leaning more into hanging out with streamers and doing things that just have nothing to do with hip-hop entirely. And because
I think that he has ran out of ideas. He has reached a ceiling, and again, I'll point this out. A lot of y'all don't. A lot of y'all not paying attention. Pay attention. He has not featured with anyone that is of any significance, any hip hop artist. Every artist he has, everything he's been doing with people like Aiden Ross. He's been doing, and bro, I seen a video where he called Kai Cenat and he called another person, but they didn't call Academics. That's so crazy to me. And Academics is a fool, bro. He's a fool. He's a true fool. If you're your mother and your father never told you about true fools, that's a true fool right there. True fool.
all of this and just how close we are to seeing this all-time downfall be solidified in a way like nobody else has ever had happen to them in hip-hop. Things have just never seemed worse for Drake, and when we really look back at everything, the way GNX scared him from dropping this new album really just may end up being his most regrettable move ever. And so now with all this said, let me know.
Alright, you already know Fantastic Hip Hop, right? Yeah, man. So look, this is what I think Drake's gonna do. I think Drake has a plan, and his plan is to pin himself as being the underdog, and he is the one because everybody loves the underdog. Everybody wants somebody to come back, the champion, the comeback kid. Oh man, he was facing all this. It's kind of like what happened with the president. He went through all this stuff, and then he won the election. I believe Drake is trying to do the same. He's trying to recreate the same feel and momentum of what happened with Trump. That's what I believe. I believe he wants to do this thing where everybody's against him, and now look. And if he comes out and he does a #1 record, then it's like, oh, Drake's DC, he back on top, baby. It doesn't matter how good the record is. That's people. So I believe he wants to put himself in that position where he feels that's why he hasn't. To me, that's why he hasn't released anything new, anything good. Because he got an album dropping with Party Next Door, but he didn't release a single yet. Why you ain't release a single? So you just gonna drop an album? Why you ain't release a single? You just gonna drop an album out of nowhere. And what happens if it doesn't go anywhere or do anything? Then what? What happens then? So I'm thinking that this is the reason why I believe he's doing what he's doing, because his plan is to try to be the comeback kid. Just understand that that's what Drake's plan. That's what he's trying to do. But either way, man, thank y'all for joining me. You know what it is, man. Catch the After Hours show tonight. You know what I'm saying? But either way, love y'all. See y'all. Peace. Bye. 8 o'clock show coming up tomorrow, man. And 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I'm here working, man. I'm working. All right, man. See y'all. Peace.